Good Monday morning, beauties. Grab your coffee, your mushroom elixir, or your green juice, whatever magic potion you start your day with, and cozy on up, because today we're diving into a topic I live, breathe, and fully believe in: holistic beauty. How your mind, body, and spirit are the real dream team behind radiant, lasting skin. I'm Shannon, also known as the Beauty Alchemist, and I'm here with you for episode 2 today. Let's dive in. Now listen, I love a good serum, just like the best of us, and I've been known to practically serenade my skincare fridge at night. But beauty's so much more than what's on the surface. It's how you think. It's what you think. It's how you move. It's how you feel, and yes, how you connect with something greater. Where are your thoughts at? How do you start each morning? When your eyes open, what is the first thing that you do? Do you reach for your phone? Do you plug right into the world when you wake up out of bed? Or do you go to a quiet place of gratitude where you are just giving thanks to the universe, to God, to whatever higher power you believe in? Just pure gratitude for the fact that your eyes just even open for the day. So let's start with the mind. The mind is like our inner mirror. Ever notice how you glow differently when you're at peace? I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. All of our thoughts, beliefs, and even the stories that we tell ourselves about aging, about our worth, about our beauty, about everything, everything. I mean, we're constantly looking for validation from others, I feel like, for a lot of people. And if you don't think that that does not show up on your faces and throughout your entire body, like, you're crazy, because chronic stress can just wreak havoc in our bodies. As a matter of fact, it's scientifically, if we want to go there for a second, chronic stress really does shrink our telomeres. I know, you're probably like, Shannon, what the hell is a telomere, right? Well, honestly, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make it as easy as I possibly can. So basically, you got your chromosome, right? It's an X. And on each one of those little points on the X, there's this little protective cap at the end of it. And that plastic cap is basically, you can think of it sort of as like the little plastic cap that is at the end of a shoestring, because you don't want it to fray or stick together. Oh, basically, a telomere is doing that very same thing. It is preventing our chromosomes from fraying and sticking together. Now, here's the good news, though, about it is, yeah, you can grow your telomeres back. It's proven. They're associated with proteins. And as long as our body begins to create more of that protein that shrinks, it can grow back. That's great news. But guess what that takes? Us really changing a lot of our habits. And the first one starts in our mind. Okay, so now that we know about our telomeres, chronic stress also messes with our collagen production. And we all know what that is. I mean, everybody talks about collagen right now, eating it, drinking it, putting it on externally, right? Well, guess what? This chronic stress, which again, as we know and we've discussed, is starting in our minds from the moment that we wake up, it is wreaking havoc and messing with our collagen production. Okay? That is something we really don't want. And I'm going to tell you why. Because stress increases the production of an enzyme that will break down our collagen. I'm not going to get all, science and specific, because that's not really what my role is. I try to make it as simple as possible for you guys. So this product is literally exasperated by inflammation, and it creates a cycle of collagen degeneration. You know why? Because of what we think we become, what we think our cells become. all of our cells throughout our body. It's very true. So as soon as we've got all of this aging starting from the moment that we open our eyes, okay, guys, this isn't to scare anybody, but it's literally to bring an awareness of just how this beauty is starting from the second that our eyes open. So between our telomeres, between our collagen, a breakdown in production of, rather, it sends our cortisol through our body. And you don't even want to go there. I mean, again, cortisol is another really huge, like, target word, trigger word, whatever you want to call it right now. As a matter of fact, I just had a conversation literally like this morning with my oldest daughter. And, basically she is freaking out about, Mom, I've just gained so much weight, yada, yada. And I immediately, because I know my own kid, right? I'm like, honey, I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of this weight that you have gained it's your cortisol levels. I guarantee you, if we tested them right now, they're through the ceiling because she's constantly living in a state of anxiety, as are most of us, between keeping up with the house, having a job, meeting our deadlines, trying to hang out with friends, trying to keep up with, all of the things. We don't realize how it absolutely triggers that wonderful hormone, cortisol, and that you can literally lower it in like minute. But guess what? It starts in the mind. So of course I did what any other mother would do. And I told her that this afternoon, while she's working at her desk all day, to go to YouTube, and that if she goes to Hertz 528, it actually, just listening to this frequency, will lower your cortisol levels. And I also sent her, of course, the viral cortisol cocktail that we're all seeing on TikTok, which is amazing. And I told her to drink lots of that. Here's the thing, you guys. There is good news. Daily practices like breath work, like journaling, like mirror affirmations, they work. Even 5 minutes of stillness can send a signal to your body. We are safe, we are sacred, and we are thriving. Science-backed secret weapons, of course, are my peptides, especially my BPC 157 and my TB 500. Because while I'm telling my cells they're thriving, I also like to help them do it. So if you have any questions about that, send me a message. I can go and drill down on peptides, specific peptides that really help to keep our body and our hormones in check, if you're interested. All right, Royals. So after we wake up and we've got our mind on the right path for the day, the next part is actually our body, that very sacred vessel, right? So let's shimmy into the physical body now. You guys, movement is non-negotiable. I mean, if we stop moving, that is when all the bad happened. Take it from someone, myself, who lives with an autoimmune. I have fibromyalgia, and mine will take on chronic pain. And the less movement I do, the more pain I feel. It's crazy, but it's true. And so movement's non-negotiable. I don't care what that movement looks like for you. Maybe it's dancing in your kitchen first thing in the morning while you're waiting for the glorious sound of the coffee pot to beep and let you know that it's ready. I don't care if it's stretching in your jammies. I am a yogi at heart. I am forever doing those weird things Like, you know, all of a sudden, I will just be right in my kitchen and doing a downward dog as I am trying to clean something off the floor or a yoga squat because this is how I'm going to reorganize my bottom cupboards. But you got to move, guys. Get out. Go for a walk. Breathe in the air. I mean, it's so important to get your body moving, to get the blood circulating and flowing. And another thing that I know I personally really like to do, especially here in Florida, is I like to ground. I like to get outside and, my bare feet in the grass and just ground with the earth for it could be 2 minutes. It could just be a walk in a circle in the backyard. I know I'm such a mermaid, so I have to do lots of earthing. If I do not get myself down to the beach and earth from the waters and the waves on the shoreline, no less than once a week, I literally do not feel right. Inside of my body, it just doesn't feel right. So, movement is whatever makes you feel good, whatever you like to do. Maybe it's just walking the dog. And maybe when you're walking the dog, you're going to listen to, a morning affirmation, or maybe you're going to listen to this podcast. That's a really good idea. But it's about getting up and starting to move. Listen, sweat is your body's glitter, as I always like to say. Feed your body like it's royalty because guess what, royals? We are. Hydration is key. I don't know how many of you, and this is not a paid advertisement. I am not getting paid to tell you this at all. But if you have not tried Buoy, which are hydration drops that go into your water, you got to check them out because these things are life-changing. They have a bunch of, I don't really want to call them flavors because they're not. They're all unflavored beverage enhancers, but they have different categories of one. So I have one that is like brain health. I have one that's rescue. And not for nothing, you guys, I literally put my rescue ones inside of like my glass of wine, even when I'm out at a restaurant. People probably look at me like, are you roofing your own drink? And I'm like, no, but I'm hydrating because alcohol and Chardonnay, as much as I love it, could be a dehydrant. Dehydrant, is that how you say that? I think so. But they have immunity, they have brain health, they have an energy one. I'm telling you, this stuff is life changing because hydration is so key in our entire functioning of our body. Just the entire thing. Whole food. You guys, you know the old saying, shop in the grocery store and stay on the outside. And that is probably the simplest type of diagram on how to eat the cleanest. Stay away from the box stuff. Stay away from the processed stuff. And listen, I'm right there with you. I too also, indulge in things that I know we shouldn't. And guess what? I pay for it in the effect of my autoimmune and my pain. It's brutal sometimes when I really cheat. Inflammation within our human body is by far the number one component into chronic illness and chronic pain. It's true. And then another thing that I do is obviously, as you guys know, love my peptides. I do, if I'm going to be honest, a little microdosing of my GLP because honestly, it helps me with my chronic pain. It's just adding the proteins back into my body that I used to make a ton of. And as I age, they just slow down. So it really helps me to be able to move more fluidly and do the physical things that my body needs to do. Because, one thing I always say, and I've said for years too, is that, you know, it's great to exercise, but I don't exercise to be a certain size. Honestly, I exercise to keep my body strong so that the older I get, like, I don't need help to get up out of a chair, when I'm in my 60s or my 70s. I exercise so that my body stays fluent. And it really is the key. So, you know, get out there, move the body from the second you wake up, of course, after you've got your mind on the right path. And again, email me. Let me know, what's your favorite body movement in the mornings? What do you like to do? How do you like to get the blood flowing? I love to hear from you guys, and, I love to learn new things from you as well. So the other thing that I like to do, especially if I do get out in the morning and I do take myself for a walk, is I like to bring a touch of nature back into the home. And, it could look like anything from fresh herbs that as I'm out, I'm picking in the garden. Maybe it's flowers along the way. I have essential oils all over the house. I'm obsessed with them. I use them for all types of healing and setting of intentions and good vibes throughout the home. I think they're really key. So if you haven't invested for yourself in a few really good essential oils, I absolutely would, because they can really just change and shift a lot of that energy that, might get stagnant within the home. Your home can be your wellness sanctuary. It should be your wellness sanctuary. I mean, you've got to make it so that it's your little place. It's your comfort zone. So bringing those touches of, nature in there are key, are super key. So we have discussed connecting and the importance of connecting our mind first thing in the morning, connecting our body first thing in the morning. And the last part to talk about is the spirit. Okay. And you guys, the spirit in you is the sparkle that you can't bottle. You can't glow if your soul is dim. Okay. Your spirit is your sparkle. So, however you do, or, whether that's prayer, whether that's meditation, whether it's taking a hike, maybe you find it in a tarot card reading, maybe you find it in singing to your house plants, but we got to nourish our spirit, because it is what is going to make everything throughout our day a little bit easier to handle. It's my soul changer. It's getting out there. It's taking on the world, knowing it's not going to always go great and that it's not always going to go our way. But you know what? It sets me up for success. It helps remind me that I may not be able to change this particular situation that I'm currently in, but what I can do is I can choose how I'm going to respond to it. And by nurturing my spirit, it is an exercise that helps me when I find myself throughout the day having to, maybe it's respond or react to something that, I don't know, really pisses me off, to be honest with you. But I like to think of it, and I like to practice it so that I am that ray of sunshine that walks into the room. I like to nurture it and I like to practice it because I want to be the reason maybe somebody laughed today, that someone smiled today, that someone would make the comment to me, "Oh, Shannon, you are such a breath of fresh air," because maybe it's your work environment. Maybe you're surrounded by a lot of really grumpy people, and maybe they're not morning people that we're training to be through our mind, our body, and our spirit. But by having our spirit in check, we are able to sprinkle that magical mermaid dust everywhere. That's what I like to call it. You call it whatever you want. And maybe you're like, Shannon, that sounds so corny. I am not trying to be made of some magical glitter. That's okay too. That's okay. Your spirit doesn't have to all be glittery. It just has to be what helps you stay centered and focused and with the intention to achieve whatever it is that you know that you need to achieve throughout that day. It could be achieving getting through an exercise class. It could be achieving getting through a meeting that could have been another email. It could be achieving, like I said, going into an office where you are surrounded by a bunch of grumpy, no fun people. So it is part of the magic trio. In order to do mind, body, and spirit, they really do all go together and all in one. Well, guys, we are at the end of our episode 2, and as your beauty alchemist, I do have a few home must-haves. Everything should start with a soft robe that makes you feel like spa royalty. You need your crystals and your oils because we love the vibes. Don't forget your skin fridge stocked with all the potions. Only the world's best products like my tallow creams, my baobab oil, and my science-backed all-in-one surfacing serum. Amazing, life-changing. Don't forget your morning jazz or your beachy bossa nova all day long. And your peace corner, guys. It's all about trying to find our inner peace, whether it be through books, candles, and absolutely through our breath work. So, wrapping it up with love and a little teaser time. When your mind is calm, your body nourished, and your spirit full, your glow becomes unstoppable. You don't have to earn your beauty, just nurture it. Nurture it. Nurture your mind, body, and your soul. Well, that's it for today. But next week on Rain and Beauty, episode 3, the morning routine. How to build a beauty and wellness routine before 9 a.m. We'll talk circadian rhythm, sunrise peptides, hey, goddess rituals for sure, and yes, our coffee magic. But until next time, stay glowing, stay grounded, and remember, you're not just aging, you are alchemy in motion, beauties, royals. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
Artlist.io Artlist.io